Hey, good evening, friends. So, friends, I want to talk about the United States and I want to talk about the situation happening in the United States. And I'm talking in this case, the relations or relationship between the government of the United States, the federal government, and the people of the United States. And in this case, I'm talking about relating to the current situation in the Middle East, the war between the United States and Israel against Iran, which many in international relations, many prominent observers and scholars on international relations are declaring or terming to be an imperialist war. Also, friends, I do believe that this war is an imperialist war. It is an offensive war. It is an unprovoked war. It is an unfair war, which the United States and Israel declared on Iran for the second time. Now, they did this for the first time during the previous negotiation last year, about June. We do have the 12-day war. During the negotiation, Israel attacked the Iranian nuclear facility, basically Israel and the United States, through Operation Midnight Hammer, which basically didn't hammer at all. They attacked Iran, and then this time they did. Now, friends, I want to talk specifically about something that happened recently. During a hearing, there was a veteran, okay, we are talking in this case a Marine veteran who, during a hearing, began to protest. Now, let me take a pause with the current situation happening in the United States. Whether we are talking about the death of Renee Good and others who ICE have killed. Now, there are many in the United States, especially in the black or people of color community, who are saying that these white people who got killed, they basically had a choice. Okay, we are talking about Renee Good and Alex Preddy, that they basically were brave enough to do what they did to try to protest because they probably thought that whiteness would have helped them. But then they were brutalized by ICE official. Now, in terms of the situation with this military veterans, and his name is Brian McGinnis. Now, he is a military veteran who went to the hearing in full Marine gear, Marine uniform. Perhaps he did that thinking that by me being a Marine, wearing my uniform as a Marine and going in there to protest, perhaps they will show me respect and treat me kindly as a human being. But it didn't go in that direction. So during the hearing, the veterans, once again, Brian McGinnis, began to protest, and he was saying that the current war in the Middle East between the United States and Israel against Iran, that it is an unjust war, that the war is going on because of Israel, and that no one wants to go and die for Israel. As he was protesting, chanting those words, he was basically forced out by security personnel. Okay, we are talking in this case by cops and or security officer. As they were pushing him out, at some point they basically pushed him to the, I think, on a bench or so. Now they lift him up and they're trying to push him out of the room, and he kept saying that no one wants to die for Israel and that the war is going on because of Israel. At some point, he was holding the door, his arm was holding the door, and his arm got stuck. And then you have a senator, a Republican slash GOP senator, basically the name Tim Sheehy, went there and basically wrapped his arm or his hand around this military veterans. Okay, we're talking in this case around Brian McGinnis's arms or shoulder, and basically was twisting it using force. At some point, Tim Sheehy also tried to grab his leg, okay, Brian McGinnis' leg to pull him. But he came back to where Mr. McGinnis' arm was and was using force and he popped it. Now, it is very interesting, even with that force and this man's arm being broken, he did not scream, he did not yell. You know he was in pain, but he handled it as a man. He handled it with basically with strength.
I'm going to fight this war for Israel. Come on, let's go. America does not want to send its sons and daughters to war for Israel. Your inability to name that shows you this as leaders. Out. This is wrong. Stop. And nobody wants to fight for Israel. Commandant, please stand up as a Marine and stand up for America. Out. No one wants to fight for Israel.
His hand, his hand. Oh, his hand.
Sir. Let go of your hand. Let go of the door. Let go of the door.
The senator broke his hand. A sitting U.S. senator just broke the hand of a Marine.
Sir.
Control your Senate.
I'm stuck in the door. Okay, sir.
A U.S. senator just broke the hand of a Marine.
Hands stuck.
A U.S. senator just broke the hand of a Marine. You're a coward. Punk.
Everybody sit down, please. Everybody sit down, please.
I'm getting out of here.
That's fine. Everybody sit down, please. Is your hand okay? Okay.
No, it's not.
This is disgusting. Disgusting.
Just pull it
This is
out.
disgusting.
He got his hand caught in the door and he broke it.
Put your hand in.
Why are you here? Why are you getting
Free
arrested?
Palestine, from the halls of Montezuma to the shores of Tripoli. Palestine will be free.
And what about this war in Iran?
His arm.
Ow!
My arm is
What
are you gonna do to him?
My left arm is broke. I understand. Don't fight us, okay?
I don't understand. You're still
You
pushing
guys,
him.
come
Okay.
on.
I need you to move
You
with
need
me,
to
okay?
stop.
Okay.
Brian, stop.
He's fighting for you, not for him.
Now, with the situation in the United States, recently information came out that the White House, the President of the United States, or the now Department of War, had sent a memo to military personnel saying that the war going on in Iran, the war of choice with the United States and Israel against Iran, is a war to usher in Armageddon, the end of the world. That the war is a religious war. And lots of military veterans and prominent scholars and thinkers in international relations and many Americans have been protesting verbally, or at least. Now, with that being the case, that the White House is reaching to personnel in the military saying that this war is a war to usher in Armageddon. In addition to something happening recently with Marco Rubio saying that the United States was not about to engage in the attack on Iran, and that Israel was going to attack Iran, and then the United States joined in, basically with the belief that when Israel attacked Iran, Iran was going to come at us anyway because we are Israeli allies. So that my question is, why don't you then stop it? If you do not want to go to war against Iran, and Israel is trying to foment war against Iran, why don't you stop it? Tell Israel we are not going to support it. If you make that move, we are going against you. And also even publish it. Let the world know that Israel is about to attack Iran unjustly, unfairly, okay, unprovokingly. And pull yourself out of it. But the whole notion that, okay, Israel is about to attack Iran, we are going to attack too, we are going to join Israel no matter what and attack Iran because we fear that Iran is going to come at us anyway. To me, it sounds like a frat boy talk. Okay, some of our frat boy housemates or members of our fraternity went out there doing some illegal stuff, maybe even beating up on girls or doing whatever terrible things. Instead of us stopping it, okay, for one, in order to protect our dignity and the dignity of the fraternity, instead of us stopping it, we join in and basically making the whole situation chaotic. That's what it seems like. Okay, you are saying that Israel is going to foment an illegal war, is going to attack Iran unprovoked. You being the primary supporter of Israel, instead of you preventing it, you join it. Okay, you jump in and you attack Iran. Now, Iran had been retaliating significantly, tremendously, harshly against Israel. And Israel and the United States, they have been carpet bombing Iran. And who knows, by the time this thing is done, how many thousands of Iranians would have been dead. From Donald Trump saying that the war is going to be a 4-day war to a week war to 2 weeks war, I just found out a couple of minutes ago that they are now anticipating that the war could last all the way into September, which, if that's the case, perhaps World War III, as many are saying, which I don't believe, I think could happen. I actually don't think World War III is going to happen. If it does happen, it is going to be because of the United States and Israel trying to trigger it. But I do believe countries such as China and Russia are going to try to prevent it. Now, Iran has no choice but to defend itself. But my question is, what are Africans or African governments doing? Because if you have a major conflict in the Middle East, and Iran, Saudi Arabia, all these countries are destroyed, we should anticipate the refugees going to flood into Africa, into Sudan, where we are seeing Arab-supported groups are already murdering Black Sudanese. So in this case, Sudan could be protected for them to come in and be the boss. In terms of the situation in the United States, when the senator Tim Sheehy got up and went to Brian McGinnis, trying to force him out and pop in his arm, broken his arm. The anger while doing that, the police or the security guards are already handling it. Why trying to prove that you're a hero or trying to prove that you're so strong? Okay, yeah, he might have been a Marine, but I also fought. Okay, I'm a serviceman too. I'm going to use whatever force. The anger, I mean, with all this, and people are basically expanding or stressing the notion of conspiracy theory that Donald Trump is compromised and that Israel controlled the United States and the current Trump administration. With all this being talked about, the manner in which American officials act and what comes out of their mouth, it doesn't do anything. It doesn't serve any justice to put to rest, to lay to rest these allegations of conspiracies that are flying all over the world and at the United States. One official, I do not remember his name, one official stated that the war was unprovoked, the United States is not at war with Iran, and that in fact Iran is at war with the United States. Iran attacked the United States. Really? Because the entire world know that it was the United States and Israel that unprovokingly attacked Iran. So already we are seeing GOP officials in the U.S. government are backing Trump, are siding with Trump. I do believe that Iran cannot flat out beat the United States in a conventional war because right now, yes, the United States is said to be running out of munition. But that's where I think the United States will be dangerous. They're going to just bomb whatever. Right now, it is about them saving face. And we are seeing Europe they're saying that they don't want no part of it, but they are basically stockpiling munition to send to Israel and also to the United States, which recently said that the U.S. president asked Ukraine for the know-how on how to deal with Iranian drones. But recently also, Spain basically kicked out the U.S. Air Force or the U.S. Army base, saying that the United States will not be permitted to attack Iran from Spanish territory. Now, Donald Trump had threatened economic warfare or whatsoever warfare against Spain, which is just childish. This is basically, I believe, in the long run, will backfire at the United States. However, in terms of the situation between the United States and Israel and Iran, Iran cannot flat out defeat the United States. I think what Iran needs to do is embarrass the United States. Iran, I believe, will embarrass the United States, which in this case, I do have a friend that basically made a prediction, and I've made this prediction and support this theory that the United States may not see a conventional civil war. However, there could be a coup, some kind of unrest, which could be the result of, let's say, the United States is at war against some medium power or non-power country, and that country will defeat or humiliate the United States so bad that government officials and army personnel will basically carry out their anger against the government and try to take out the president or the government. That could be the case. But also with the situation of Team Sheehy breaking the arm of the Marine veteran, Brian McGinnis, I do believe many Marine personnel and those in the government and also in the army, I believe many of them are angry because of the way they treated him. But it also ignites and propelled the whole conspiracy theory of Israel controlling the United States, or that the United States is a lapdog of Israel doing whatever Israel wants, which in this case, in the long term, may not work for the stability of the United States in terms of looking at the anger that comes out of American military personnel. So far, the White House and the government is saying that about 6 Marines, okay, or 6 U.S. military personnel have been killed as a result of Iranian strike, and that about 10 wounded. But there are informations that are coming out from international sources saying that the U.S. death toll could be in the hundreds, about 5 to 600 or so. I don't know, that could be the case, and I believe that the United States will not publish those numbers because they will cause embarrassment internationally for the United States, and Donald Trump will be over, especially given that he engaged in a war, an illegal war, which the enemy did not make any threat against the United States or wasn't going about threatening the United States in any way possible. But the situation between Tim Sheehy and Brian McGinnis, and McGinnis' his arm being broken, I think it is reminiscent for me of a civil war in the United States, a cold civil war in the United States. There is a cold civil war going on. The only thing is we need to pray, whether we are talking about Americans or people around the world. And that is because any major thing, such as unrest in the United States, could have an international consequence. But the cold civil war in the United States, which I believe is going on, I think people need to pray that it doesn't become an all-out hot civil war, because it's going to be damage for the United States, for American people, and for the rest of the world. But the way Brian McGinnis is treated, or was treated, the way Alex Preddy was murdered, the way Renee Goods was murdered, and other Americans, whether we are talking about as a result of the ICE protests or even before, the way black people had been murdered throughout the United States. It's reminiscent of a civil war. Now, Republicans, conservatives, many on the streets, and we've heard many of them even on social media talking about they are ready for civil war. All that Donald Trump has to do is call the shot. These people, whether you are black or white, they've already identified you as the enemy. So to them, the shooting, the killing that we are seeing of people who do not toe the line of the Trump administration, it is because they see these people as enemies. Therefore, killing of the enemies doesn't mean anything to them. But in the long term, I think it could lead to destabilization for the United States or within the United States. Therefore, I think what happened to Brian McGinnis, the way in which Tim Sheehy basically broke his arm. I think it's reminiscent, or it is resembling a cold civil war. I think we are seeing something very dangerous in the United States. Now, friends, please tell me what you think, and I really want to know what you think. However, friends, I am going to end here. I want to thank you for being a member of the Echoing Voice community, my friends. But most especially and most importantly, all most important friends, I want to thank you a lot for watching the Echoing Voice. Peace, my friends. Peace.